Hi, sir. What did you say your name was?
Jim Edwards.
Jim Edwards. Do you think cannabis should be legalized, or is it? I don't know if it has been legalized. How do you feel about cannabis?
Oh, cannabis should be legalized.
Right. I agree. It shouldn't. The government shouldn't have anything at all to say about cannabis. I think nothing at all.
Well, it should be regulated.
Why?
Because
so the government can control it?
Children shouldn't have it until they're at least 18 years old.
Why can't their parents decide?
Because it has proven to be detrimental to undeveloped body and brain.
So why couldn't the parents decide whether or not to expose their children to that?
Well, because
I don't believe it's been connected to it. I bet it makes it grow in a more rapid rate.
I think
that's a lie from the left. From the
technology, some research out there that suggests that it's not advantageous to.
No, I know. I understand. I understand it all about the research, and I believed it. But I'm just saying I don't know that that's true as long as it's natural marijuana straight from the ground. I don't really think I believe that anymore. But I've thought a lot of things through, and they've become more clear, and I actually love the new things that have been revealed. Don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's nice that there isn't as much of a bias against it as there used to be.
Right.
But I still think that it's something that, just as we don't sell cigarettes to children, we shouldn't sell marijuana to children.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Okay, that's a good point. What about aliens?
You mean like undocumented immigrants?
We could talk about that. Do you have any strong feelings on that?
Oh, I think that the current administration is going about this all wrong.
You don't think there should be a wall?
Absolutely not.
You think we should just let people come into our country?
No, we should enforce the laws that we have on the books now, and we should continue to maintain border security, but the wall is completely useless and a tremendous waste of money.
Well, the interesting thing is that I was actually working for a place. What did I have? I had a story that was similar to the wall, because basically the new workplace of the last few years is like you have to give your employees the tools they need to do the job. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like you're trying to block these people from crossing the border, and they cross it all over the border. They've been doing it for years. They cross through rivers and crap like that to get in illegally all the time. Tens of thousands of them at least. And so you give the military, of course, your number one peep, you give them the tools that they need to do their job, which is the wall actually wouldn't cost much at all. I mean, the wall's built, just so you know.
There's already a barrier in place. The wall is simply a testament to one man's ego, and something that he now has just put his entire
campaign
persona around it. And,
yeah.
And it's sort of it's a branding thing for him. And he said he was going to build a wall. Everybody expected him to build a wall that voted for him, so he's doubling down.
Yeah. I don't really do, but how do you feel about the fact that the wall is going to be built one way or the other, because the military has already been allocated all the money for it, and they have a special engineer group that's constructing the wall as we speak?
Well, my understanding is that the wall, as we have come to know it in the last 2 years, is not under construction, but rather that there is continuing improvements to the existing barriers that are there now. Upgrades, repairs.
I know that's the mainstream media that's telling you that. That's the mainstream media that you just turn it on. It's everywhere you go. You know, you get online, they're feeding you news, just spoon feeding it to you. You know what I mean? Well, do you know what QAnon is? Have you heard of QAnon?
QAnon?
QAnon, yeah, Q. The conspiracy group?
No.
Well, do you like conspiracy stuff at all?
Not really.
Do you believe there are tunnels underneath the Denver airport? And that it's 8 stories deep and they traffic children and eat children down there?
I have no idea. I've never heard that before.
How do you feel about actual literal aliens?
From outer space?
Yeah. Like the cop that was driving his spaceship today, and I asked him about it. Do you want to hear the conversation?
The cop was driving a spaceship?
It would look just like a car, but you could tell because they sound different. Most of the cars in Dunedin are spaceships, because most of Dunedin is completely woke. You're actually not. Don't get mad. But it doesn't mean that you won't be. And so anyway, I stopped the cop. Like I'm waving at him, he turns around and comes back, and that was the spaceship golf cart. And he goes, I said, hey, I like your spaceship. What? I said, I love your spaceship that you're driving here. This is a spaceship, right? And he goes, oh, yeah. And I said, so do you fuel it with fuel? Do you ever put fuel in it? And he goes, yeah. And I said, at the fuel pump with the regular fuel? And he goes, sometimes. And I said, well, do you ever just power it with energy? Like, this light that you collectively as a group, whoever's in charge of it, you guys all sink light into it and you sink energy into it and it just powers it with that energy? Yeah, sometimes. And I said, well, what about, no, I just forgot what I was saying. I forgot, what was I saying?
You were talking about the spaceship police car.
Yeah, so I go, so I asked him, so I asked him about the fuel. So I said, well, I bet when there's a big emergency that it's, because this is all a game. I'm like the lead in this game. Because I was the one who was going to hell. I don't know if you heard. But anyway, everybody's like, yes, she's worse than us. She's going to burn in hell forever. Not everybody, but anyway, so this, so then I go, well, I bet when there's an emergency that generates a ton of energy, doesn't it? And he goes, and I said, and I bet it's just, the tank just goes immediately to full, right? Because it charges it with that energy. And he goes, no, we just run on fumes. Back the blue. No, I'm just kidding. But what do you think of that?
It's the first I've heard of it. It's news to me.
Well, I'm going to think positive energy and light, and anybody that hears this or sees this, I would encourage you or ask you to do the same. That, what's your name again?
Jim?
Jim Edwards. That Jim Edwards will, he and I will have a time where we can just be right outside here and I can see another stealth police officer and I can pull him over or her over and just talk a little bit with my friend Jim.
Okay.
Alright, I gotta go. My thing's gonna run out of power and you're gonna run out of steam.
Yeah.
I'll be back though.
I gotta have
Thank
lunch
you.
or